evening, everybody. Welcome. Mac, how you doing over there?
I'm doing great. My ankle kind of hurts.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Well, that's all right. Somebody apparently just called me a retard on Twitter. So
again,
that's to him. Again. Yeah, I know. Oh, by the way, I guess we've got bad news tonight. This is probably our last show because Michigan got the hammer and probably won't be playing football for who knows how long. And I mean, why keep doing the show?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I took a hammer to my ankle. That's why it hurts. I remember now.
Yeah. I mean, the hammer fell, right? It's over?
No.
No?
No.
What happened?
Wait.
Okay.
No.
Oh, so we don't have to cancel. We don't have to delete the channel.
No, we don't have to delete the channel.
All right. Well, you know what this means.
I don't know.
Good job by J.J. McCarthy. Take the handoff. Alec Manis is going to throw a pick. They give it to Corum. Up back. Corum. Touchdown, Wolverine. Roman Wilson does it again. Finds some daylight. He's got some speed and some blocker. Outside. Turns the corner. Blake Corum down the sideline. Looking over the middle. Caught. Touchdown, Wolverine. McCarthy extends the play, now uses legs. McCarthy at first down.
That clapping goes on forever. I love it. So we are here. We're back. We did not have to cancel the channel. It's all here. It's all right now. This is the Michigan Wolverine Team Rivalry Show. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. We've already got 19 people out there.
We had 21. 2 of them left. What the heck?
What's going on out there? Just when you have faith in society, this happens.
Seriously.
We've already got a bunch of people out there in the chat. Brandon is out there. Casey Bunker is out there. Blue is going for the natty because all the BS they have been through. Oh, that's right. Because I have a poll going on right now. We've also got, let's see. Well, I said we have Brandon out there. Hey, guys, Auburn claimed 7 national champions overnight, and they have a total of 9. I didn't get that. I don't understand why Auburn's just all of a sudden claiming national championships, but
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know that either.
Can you just be like, well, we didn't lose a game, so national championship.
Matthew Shepard is out there. It means we're going 12-0 this season. Go blue. Go blue. And EP is back. Hey, guys. Chat, go blue. Good to see you guys. And Det Wolverine. All right. How you doing out there? Go blue, boys. Go blue.
Hey, go blue.
Good to see everybody out there. Thanks for joining us. We have a special show tonight. We're doing a couple of different things.
We're
show
is special, dude.
I know.
Every show is special.
That is true. Every show is special. What's really special about the show tonight, last week, we had 1,970 subscribers when we signed off. And we said our goal was to hit 2,000 before the season starts. And as of right now, it is... Oh my goodness, I had this up and then I dropped it. 2,078. Wow. Thank you, everybody.
Subscribers in a week.
Yeah, really appreciate that. It's great to see all of you guys. And you're here to talk football and have fun talking football. And really appreciate it. Oh, and Det Wolverine says, love your take on Michigan podcasting. Thank you very much, Det Wolverine.
Hey, all right. Well, thank you.
I'm assuming Det Wolverine is Detroit Wolverine.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
He told us that, didn't he?
Oh, he may have.
I guess I don't know if it's a guy or a girl.
I don't remember everything, but we love Detroit and we love Michigan and we love the Michigan Wolverines. And thank you very much for all of that out there. We also have memberships. We are trying to do more for the memberships. We have our fantasy football league starting. Why don't you go ahead and hit? Well, actually, before you do that, fantasy football league is starting. We're gonna have more on that in a minute. Tonight, we have Peter and Rob from Buckeye Battlecry on. We're going to talk about the NCAA punishment and the NCAA 74-page thing that they put
and why
out.
Rob is wrong about everything.
Rob's in the back laughing. Okay, that's good.
Can you see us? Okay.
So we got the guys from Buckeye Battlecry. So when they come on, I want you guys to fill the chat with Go Blues and also your questions. Remember, we're here to have fun and talk football. We love these guys. They're friends of ours. So let's make sure we keep that respectful in the chat.
But also trash them mercilessly.
We have a great chat. You guys always keep things respectful. So just keep doing that. And throw all your questions there for them.
Destroy them.
We are also going to watch, for our members who may have seen the Oregon video we posted earlier today, we're actually going to have a watch party here with that and maybe talk about a few things with Oregon 2024, just having some fun with our new Duck friends, because we actually like the Oregon Ducks.
Yeah, their mascot's kind of dumb, but
well, no, but he's cool looking.
He is kind of cool. Actually, yeah, you're right. He's fun.
Big Ten Ted is a huge Oregon fan. He has an Oregon channel.
Yeah.
He's a good friend too. So
plus I like it when he takes his stomach and he just starts like, doing a round or whatever. He like takes his.
Oh, you mean like, the duck? I thought you meant Big Ten Ted. I was like, I don't do that.
That's wildly inappropriate. That's wildly no. Ted, keep your clothes on.
So we've got that. Thank you, EP, for the congratulations there. We're also going to we've also got your chats. So that's going to be the show tonight. Can we get it done in 90 minutes is the question, because the segment with Buckeye Battlecry, it's either going to be a short segment or a much longer segment than we expect. But we will do that. And also the poll, if you haven't seen it yet, the poll out there in the chat is, what are your expectations for Michigan in 2025? They only give you 4 options. So I did my best. Is it national championship? Is it Big Ten championship? Is it 10 plus wins or 8 plus wins? And if it's less than that, I may actually quit. I don't know.
You can't quit. We got 2,078 people counting on us, man.
That's right. So that's what's going on out there. Let's see. A couple of things here. Brandon says, yeah, if things gel well and Bryce picks them up quick, our defense, the elite, win 10 or 11 games, make the playoffs, we can win the Natty. Why not? I mean, it's one of those years where the talent is there. I think the coaching staff has proved they can do good things with the talent they have. So, the possibility is there. I personally, I'm looking at Michigan to, I don't know if they'll go to the Big Ten championship, but I do expect them to get a playoff berth, but maybe lose in the first round. So I'm looking at, what would that be? 12-1, maybe 11-2, something like that. I don't see any reason.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. Casey Bunker is out there. Let's go blue and yellow. Casey, it's blue and maize. I want to pick on you, but it's blue and maize. Just like our Buckeye Battlecry friends will tell you, it's not red and gray, but it looks red and gray. Blue Wolverine said,
I thought it was black and blue.
Matthew Shepard says, thoughts on the 28 playoff. Okay, I'm going to hold on to that one, Matthew.
Right, yeah, we got thoughts on that one, but we got to get the Buckeyes in here. So.
Well, yeah, we're going to do that. We're also going to do, let's fantasy football. Actually, no, before we do fantasy football, let's do our ad read. Do you have the ad ready to go?
I have that, yes.
All right, let's go ahead. We are brought to you tonight by Rise Window and Door. Mac, take it away.
This episode of Team Rivalry is powered by Rise Window and Door. Serving Jackson, Ann Arbor, and Lansing, Rise delivers expert craftsmanship, not just in windows, doors, and custom trim, but across the entire home improvement spectrum. Locally owned and operated, they bring big precision with small town care. No cookie cutter solutions here, no shortcuts. Whether it's upgrading your exterior or transforming your interior, Rise handles every detail with the care and precision you want for your home. Call 810-673-7473 or head to risewindowdoor.com to schedule your free consultation today and let Rise help you realize the vision you have for your home. They're a supporter of the show, so if you're looking to have any home improvement projects completed, they're going to do the best job you could ask for, and you'll be supporting the channel while doing so. So it's a win-win.
Excellent. Yes. And they do fantastic work over there. Highly recommend Rise Building Company, Rise Window and Door. Thank you very much for being a supporter. Really appreciate that. All right. Now, fantasy football. Where are we at with fantasy football?
There are 3 spots remaining, which there were 3 spots remaining a couple days ago. So what the heck, guys? Does nobody want to play with us? Yeah, we've got 3 spots remaining for our members only fantasy football league. It is $1 to become a member, just one. But for those of you who are already members, you're a member. So play fantasy football with us. What the heck? I mean, also, there's a $50 gift card to Rally House on the line here, guys. And I can't win it. He can't win it. I'm just
not
saying.
To mention, Matthew Miller is on the league right now. He is on our league and he named his team the winner of this league. So
wow,
Matthew Miller has thrown down the gauntlet. So we need somebody to come in
that
and
is
slap
ballsy.
him in the face with it.
Yeah.
Not that we don't like Matt. I'm just saying when you
I
do
don't
that,
know.
when you have that kind of braggadocio,
Yeah.
that's what's got to happen. All right. I think, I want to put this up here real quick. Wolverine says, rip the hammer. Blue Wolverine. Matthew Shepard says, Matt is a great name, isn't it? Yes, it is, Matt. It's good. Yeah. All right. We're going to bring on Buckeye Battlecry now, and we are going to talk about the punishment being handed down to Michigan and how we all feel about it. This is what we're calling the last word on this, because I know we're all getting to that point of being done talking about it. But Rob contacted me and said he wanted to talk about this tonight. We were thinking about talking about it anyway, so we love to have these guys on. They're good friends of ours. In the chat, drop your questions in there that you have for Rob and Peter, and we will handle those here as we talk about this tonight. Let's bring them on. We've got Rob and Peter.
What's up, you guys?
How you doing, guys?
Doing good, doing good. You know, when you brought up fantasy football, it just made me think of how much I just don't miss it at all. Because it's like, once you make it the final couple of times and finally win that championship, it's just like, okay, what's left? So I'm done with fantasy football for a while.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that, because we were trying to do something nice for our members, but I guess I'll just go jump in a lake then or something.
You get some good swag at Rally House, bro. Represent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, $50 gift card there. And I was going to ask if you wanted to play, Rob, but now I'm not going to. So suck it.
Invitation.
No, you weren't.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if we don't get those 3 spots filled, we need somebody.
We also said too, Mac, that if we fill in those 3 spots, we will open up some more if we find out more than 3 people want to play. So
we will open up more if more than 3 people want to play. But at this point, do 3 people even want to play? Look, guys, my wife's not going to play with me this year, so come on.
I remember one of your buddies and I, it was like a 20-person league, and I'm just like,
wow,
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just not, because like you're gonna end up having players who are not even like, they're just gonna be, it's gonna be bench players in your starting lineup. And
a lot of people in the league.
Just like,
that would probably be too much. I mean, at this rate, we're only at 7, so
yeah. Okay, so here's the thing with here's what we're gonna do. I don't know really how to break this down. I'm sure I remember, Rob, you always have your notes, so you probably have an outline already. So the punishment that was handed down to Michigan was, let's see, a 10-year show cause for Harbaugh, 8-year show cause for Connor Stallions. Chris Partridge was exonerated, got nothing. Denard Robinson got
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
And then there were the monetary fines, $50,000 plus the postseason. It equals the postseason revenue. How did they put that? 10% or no?
I think it was 15%.
15% of the revenue, which would equal what they figured would be essentially all of the postseason revenue.
That's like
would get taken into that. They thought like 20 to 30 million, I think, was the.
Yeah, that'd be in the range.
And the fine, that's like not all, that's like over multiple seasons. So I think it's over like a 4-year period.
Right. And Sharon Moore got an additional suspension for some reason. It's 1 game next season. I didn't get that one at all.
That's the little humorous add-on. It's like, what? What is that about?
Against Western Michigan too.
But it's in Germany.
We'll see.
Now he doesn't get to go to Germany.
Oh no, he doesn't get to go to Germany. Oh,
have you ever been to Germany?
I have. No,
I have during the World Cup, actually.
Nice.
Oh, seriously? Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So let's just start off. I know I don't really have an opening statement or anything. We're not doing a debate. We're just talking. But I'll let you guys go first. What are your thoughts on the punishment? Do you think it was equitable or not? I know you guys were not a hammer crowd, so you didn't think Michigan was going to get the hammer, didn't expect the hammer. But how do you guys feel about the ruling?
Peter and I, Buckeyes Battlecry, we kept our mouth shut a good amount of the time over this. We wanted to, I mean, I've done a lot of research on it, and that's how I came up, with my opinions, my predictions. But now that the NCAA report is out there, the 174 page, I read a good amount of it. It was wild, just something that's written in a fiction novel. Just just wow. From Connor Stallions saying I smashed my cell phone to 1,000 pieces and threw it at the bottom of the pond.
Yeah.
To having an intern pretty much like 2 interns take everything out, and just the whole naming, like labeling their little circle the KGB.
Yeah.
That's just that's wild. But it's just, I would have liked to seen a little more for Shromore, just because he's a repeat offender. Maybe like 4 or 5 games.
But now let's dig into that though. Repeat offender. What is the repeat offense?
So he was already on probation for the recruiting violations, and then I know, like, it wasn't what was in the text. It was the fact that he deleted the text that was deemed impeding an investigation. So I mean, to them, that put him on repeat offender status. But it's more the principle. I'm a rules guy. I like to go by the book. It's more the principle. So I would have liked to seen a little more. I thought that Stallions' punishment was fair for what he did, seeing that the COI said this was the worst case of non-cooperation that they've seen. Seeing that he pretty much destroyed everything, and there was the case of a compliance officer within Michigan just saying, hey, like, you really need to turn over your cell phone. He basically said, no, like, I'm not doing it. Like, literally later that day, he destroyed it. So it's more the principle for me. Like, you're breaking rules according to the NCAA. So, there needs to be, I think his punishment was reasonable.
Well, the handing over the phone thing, I remember at one point that was one of the rare things that Harbaugh actually talked about, saying that the NCAA was coming in and asking for personal phones, and essentially they felt it was an invasion of privacy. And where that falls in there or not is I suppose that's the gray area. That's up for debate. If they had like Michigan branded phone, or not Michigan phones, but like work phones, if they had work phones, then I could understand the NCAA could ask for those. But there's a line there somewhere. Is the NCAA allowed to go to their house and investigate? Is the NCAA and the phones are considered that personal area. So like even the police can't open your phone unless they have a warrant or you let them. So I don't know. That's one of those weird areas. It's almost like my thought on some of the NCAA ruling is that they got to a point where they were being a little vindictive.
Yeah.
And I suppose you can balance that with if Michigan really was, just defying them at every turn. Yeah. Then we get into, who did it first kind of a thing. But I don't know. That's just, I don't know. That's my view on it.
I think there was certainly a vindictiveness toward Harbaugh, and I always thought he was going to get the biggest brunt of the punishment. But in the sense of, because he was prodding and poking with the camps around his hiring in 2015 when he first started, and then he started talking about paying the players, and so there was this resistance to him specifically, and so I always kind of figured he'd get the harshest punishment. But at the same time, it's like a false harsh punishment because he was never coming back to college anyway.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, that's cool. Like, you got your pound of flesh, but did you actually? Because I don't think his plan was ever to come back to college and coach again. So
right.
It's kind of humorous in that sense, where it's like they took out the harshest punishment on Stallions and Harbaugh and people uninvolved. And so part of me is is a little bit happy for the growth that I've seen in the punishment from the NCAA, in the fact where USC, they got absolutely cratered. Ohio State, they got the postseason ban. Looking back at some punishments in the past 20 years, and the thing was like we have the grounds for it, but we don't want to punish the future players. And so on one side, I respect that because like those players aren't involved. And so I agree with that assessment. But at the same time, it's like, well, that's not really consistent with what you've done in the past. And so a lot of people are kind of saying, this is the new era. And so I get that. Michigan's a big brand. You don't want to punish a big brand, especially with a quarterback with the likes of Bryce Underwood in tow. So,
yeah. So another thing with me, just looking at that report, it was noted several times that the Michigan football staff was at odds with the compliance officers within Michigan. So for me, it's just like that's just hard to be like, okay, that doesn't bother me. Like someone like I'm a rules guy. It's the principal. Like they're there to do your job, and you're at odds with them because they're making you do your job by the books. So it's kind of like, it just shows the I guess what everyone's saying was right about. Well, some were saying right about the culture that Harbaugh was cultivating within Michigan. So
it's not surprising to me though that they had any issues with the compliance officers, because the compliance officers are working for, they're working for the school, and the school administration and the football program and the athletic department as a whole, they have clashed basically since the university was founded. The University of Michigan, the University of Michigan's administration is very elitist, unfortunately. And that's why I was bummed that Santa Ono didn't stick around, because I thought he was actually doing a pretty good job. But the administration,
what happened to him?
Well, a lot of weird stuff happened with him. But
I heard they leaked his name, just a story to the New York Times, and pretty much trashed him in there. That's why he eventually took off.
The way this is a little bit of a side, but the way John U. Bacon talked about it was that Santa Ono was trying to be all things to all people. And so he was trying to appease Michigan administration while also, basically staying true to who he was as a person. Kind of a ordeal. That's probably putting it too bluntly. But in the end, you have to appease Michigan's administration. And if you don't agree with them, then you're going to have a hard time doing that. And I can't think of two factions who are more different than Harbaugh and his guys and Michigan's administration. Harbaugh is, he's a very religious person. He's got his convictions, and he's very outspoken about all his convictions too. Yeah, Michigan's administration is very not any of those things.
Right.
Could you pull up EP's comment real quick about Ohio played ineligible players? That's not the same.
Oh yeah.
I kind of want to address that. So, this is where it's just like, okay, if you really read the 174-page findings by the NCAA, you'll see that big level 1 aggravated that in the past constituted the multiple year postseason ban was the exemplary non-cooperation. And that's what the big piece of the cake was. We're not talking about vacated wins or anything. That big piece for the postseason ban was exemplary non-cooperation. So that was that was the big punishment. But due to the fact that pretty much the whole staff that was involved is gone, they did not want to punish the players that are currently on the team, because that would be unfair. So
which is interesting. That plays into, was on the field play affected? Because my sense of it is like what you were just saying. The punishment that came down from the NCAA is more about procedure. Michigan fought the compliance office the same way none of us like the HR department at our offices, and there's always that interruption or barrier. People just don't like HR. They don't like compliance department. Peter, are you all right?
Yeah,
just a card to flip over. But the way I've related this to a couple of people is that what essentially happened is when you build a house without a permit, the township comes in and fines you and tells you to get a permit, but they don't make you take the house down because you didn't do anything wrong with the house. You just didn't follow the rules and get the permit. So Michigan, it seems to be, if the ruling is all about procedure, then what happened didn't affect play on the field, didn't affect the games, which is why they're not vacating any wins. It's just that Michigan wasn't following the procedural rules. Connor broke some bylaws. There's that too. But by and large, the ruling from the NCAA seems to be about procedure, not about practice.
I think the problem with it too is the NCAA is just not a trustworthy entity, period. Mm-hmm. I mean, they came out with a whole bunch of, that letter that they came out with, they made a lot of claims in it, but they couldn't produce any evidence. And I'll be honest, like if the claims that they have in there are true, then Michigan probably should have gotten the death penalty. And at that point, some players probably would have been ineligible, or at the very least, some coaches would have been doing some seriously shady stuff, which should have probably gotten Michigan in, a couple of years of postseason ban because of that. So to me, it felt like the NCAA was, it was kind of, I heard somebody talk about it. Like, this is like my ex-girlfriend telling me that they really hate me and all the reasons that they hate me, and then acting like I care about what they say. Like, yeah, like it's like it's like the NCAA was looking at Michigan like, oh, we really hate you, and these are the reasons why we hate you. And Harbaugh's off at the Chargers, just like, all right, cool.
Yep.
Like deuces, and that's been his attitude ever since he left too.
Yeah,
no
really.
Doubt. I left this in the dust. I ain't talking to nobody about nothing.
And
I don't blame him.
I agree. I don't blame him either. And what's interesting is that Harbaugh, when you hear him talk about Michigan now, he's only ever talking about the players. He's only ever talking about the coaches. He never says anything about Michigan as a school, an institution, or the administration. Sure. They were at odds. And that's something that Steve Dace has talked about too. And I don't know how everyone feels about Steve Dace, but I think he's a smart guy. He was saying that Michigan's messaging on this whole thing was bungled from the beginning. If Michigan stays on message and attacks the merit of the allegations a year ago, then this is basically a nothing burger at this point. But they bungled the messaging, and then Sharon Moore deleted his text messages, which actually he apparently deleted those text messages before the investigation even started. But unfortunately, that was just a big own goal. Like, that was a huge self-own. So if he doesn't self-own, not self-own, self-own. But if he doesn't do that, then he's not hit with repeat offender status, and he doesn't get the extra game suspension. But it just feels like the punishment they got, I actually think it's a little much. But compared to what they accuse Michigan of in that letter, it feels toothless. Like, if half of the stuff in that letter is true, they needed at least a 1-year postseason ban.
Well, my takeaway is this, man. I'll let you jump in just a second, Rob. But I mean, just to piggyback on that, I think you're exactly right. I mean, it appears that the NCAA will not punish any more big brands, and I'm okay with that. I mean, because we have been lawless for quite a while, since 2021, and they're toothless and they're feckless, and it looks like there will be no massive punishments to these big brands that can make them money, because now it's a lot more semi-pro, or even pro, if you want to call it that, because it basically is that now. And so I did hear Akron got a postseason ban. Like, they just went 0-12. What do they need a postseason ban for?
Man, and they got a postseason ban because their players had a bad GPA. Like, give me a break.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
You got a D on your test? No bowl game for you.
Oh wait, isn't that what happened to? Was it Forcier?
Yeah, Forcier? Tate Forcier was also violating all kinds of team rules and whatnot. Like, he was going to bars trying to get drinks underage because of who he was. Like, he just wasn't acting all that. His behavior was unacceptable.
Yeah.
He was a little Johnny Manziel light before Johnny Manziel.
Right.
Yes, that's true.
Let me.
Johnny Manziel with half the talent.
Judging. I think judging by these comments recently, I think a lot of people just misunderstood what I was trying to say.
All right. Let me actually hit a couple
I
of
was
these
trying to say that I'm not. After a while, I'm not even looking at the quote unquote advanced scouting or whatever. Yeah. I'm looking at how Michigan complied, and to me, this is how Michigan complied. I'll give you a scenario. A college student, they're pretty much half-assing their way through the course, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh man, there's this big chance that I can fail the class. Let me, quote unquote, start trying. So they do the bare minimum. They ask the professor for extra credit, and then at the end they don't get the grade that they want, and then they go argue with the professor that, hey, I should have gotten an A. To me, that's how I think they complied with this whole entire thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily argue with that.
Well, no, I mean, I guess I totally see what you're saying, Rob. I do completely understand. I guess the problem is that we're here, we're on the outside. We have no idea what actually happened within Schembechler Hall, but what we do know is that the NCAA doesn't necessarily have a track record of trustworthiness, and they also made, like I said before, they also made a lot of claims in that punishment letter and didn't actually present any evidence to back any of it up. So, and I'm not saying that Michigan's not at fault with the way that they went to the NCAA with everything too. I think that the football team or the football program, I can't say whether or not they followed all the rules in terms of compliance, but what I can say is that when you've got your own institution against you, it's a lot easier to score own goals at that point. And so I think, I do think that Michigan bungled their response for sure. And I'm wondering if that's probably what's coming off as Michigan being incompliant or not compliant. Because again, they hit Sharon Moore with repeat offender status because he deleted his texts, but those texts were deleted before the investigation even started. So it's an own goal for sure, but it's also the investigation hadn't started yet. So why is that a repeat offender type thing? I mean, it doesn't look good, but there's also no teeth there.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So and here, like Brandon says, this was all an overreach, and this has been a cry of many of us Michigan fans through the whole thing. How do you guys? What's the Buckeye side of this? Do you guys think it was an overreach?
Go ahead, Rob.
Man, I really want to hear your response here because I haven't heard enough from you on this yet about the whole overreach thing. Then I'll give my take.
I'm one of the rare Buckeyes that could not wait for this story to be over, and not because I thought there was an expectant hammer at the end, because I'm freaking fatigued with it. And it's interesting, from this perspective, having been born and raised in the Ann Arbor area, I have a lot of friends that are Michigan fans, and not a single one posted about this when the punishment was released on Facebook. Diehard fans, people that attend games, involved in the athletic department and all this other stuff. And nobody cared enough to post about it. And that's kind of where I was throughout this story. I wanted to wait until the punishment and respond then and see what would come about. And I have to admit, I wasn't expecting much because I saw the reaction to the North Carolina academic scandal that I think was the biggest scandal in this century for college athletics. Nothing happened to the Tar Heels program. And then the Tennessee McDonald's Bagman program, nothing happened to them. And so I said, well, I'm not expecting anything. And so it's just one of those things where it's
man.
I had very low expectations for what was going to happen. This is not a story I followed, reading updates daily or listening to podcasts about. I'm obsessed with the sport of college football, and I love following the stats and the offseason, other storylines, the intriguing storylines. But this is something I'm glad to put behind us for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad it's in the rearview mirror and that we're a week and a half away from the season.
I just want to level set expectations. Michigan is appealing with the NCAA. If there's any news that comes out about that, I will be posting a clickbait video. We need the clicks, and I am not ashamed to say that.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting to me on this one, as far as overreach, I felt like it was kind of an overreach for a while because I thought they were going after Michigan for something that ultimately didn't matter that much. But now that the ruling has come out, I feel like it wasn't necessarily an overreach. It was really like what you're saying, Rob, that Michigan fought the NCAA fought Michigan. And so the ruling really comes down to all of that bickering between the two parties. And ultimately, is that an overreach? I don't think so. I think that's more of the parent sort of disciplining the child and saying, just shut your mouth for 5 minutes.
I do want to be honest. I mean, I do think there was something substantial here. There was a clear and obvious bending and breaking of the laws, and we saw his smugness on the Netflix documentary. And so, he loved rubbing his face in the NCAA with that. Mm-hmm. And so there were violations here, but it never reached the point of where it's like, I want to see this program, as much as I hate them and despise them with everything in me. I knew a hammer wasn't coming, so I never got my hopes up.
I don't know what it is with me. So here's the thing. I didn't want you guys to win the national championship. I knew you were probably going to. I didn't want it to happen. But when Ryan Day smiled after winning the trophy, I felt something. I was just like, hey, that guy's happy. That's great. Just as a fellow human being. I was like, that's great. I like that. All right, whatever. I'll forget that he's wearing the scarlet and gray. That's whatever. Everybody else is just like, no, screw him. I want them all to die and go to hell.
When it came to Ohio State's buy-in season, they spent that $20 million in NIL for players who transferred in, by the way, and returning players. I completely forgot about this whole thing. I was just zoned in to how the season was going to go because I knew this was a natty or bust season. So I forgot all about this. The thing that kept reminding me of is because either Connor Stallions was back in the spotlight, Ross Dillinger did another article, Dan Wetzel or whoever else decided to do an article on this. Then just Peter and I, we really didn't want to report on this, but, not going to lie, when someone wrote an article, we would do that, for content purposes. But other than that, I'm also glad that this is finally behind us. We can move on to talking about actual football.
I'm sorry. Did you see Marmar's last chat?
I'm trying to figure out why Marmar is yelling about everything.
Because he's fired up.
We love
man.
Marmar.
Dude, Marmar called us. Dude, Marmar called us first graders, man. I'm sorry, but this is football. We're at the end of the day, we're all human beings. Come on, man. This is football. This is not war. We're not in Vietnam. All right.
Rob's not in first grade. He teaches first grade. Get it right.
But yeah, just
caps.
I'm excited for the football season. And I also ask, other Buckeye fans, please stop talking about this. It's over, it's done. We need to move on. Texas is the first game. So I mean that's just how I feel about it. It is what it is with the ruling and stuff. And again, I wasn't upset or anything because I just never really thought a hammer was coming.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Where did they touch you? Oh my God.
All right, guys, keep it respectful out there. Blue Wolverine, are you still out there? You're a moderator. But this right here, what EP says, the appeal will bring out a lot more of what really happened, a lot of questionable stuff. And I think that's what's getting scary about this. So I agree. I wish we weren't talking about this either. I would rather just talk about football. By the same token, I find this kind of stuff interesting for it's almost like a political thing. I'm kind of a political junkie too, although not as much as I used to be. But this stuff is interesting to me because these organizations have to work together. I mean, you talk about, being a rule person. These organizations, the governing body has to work together with the schools. The schools have to work with the NCAA. If they're not getting along, if they're not working together, then bad things are going to happen, and it's the players that are going to suffer, which they are. But as we saw from Michigan in 23 and then Ohio State last year, sometimes those outside forces that are trying to get them off course are what get them motivated to move forward. Michigan won a national championship. Ohio State came back and won a national championship. So I don't know. They can be used, but I'll be interested to find out with this appeal, because here's the other side of this. You guys are talking about Michigan fans saying silly things, and I've seen some Ohio State and Michigan State fans. I don't know why they're getting involved.
Michigan State fans have a lot more to worry about than Michigan right now.
Right. But saying things like it's going to be bad. Michigan shouldn't do the appeal because there's going to be discovery, and then Michigan's going to be exposed. And I think some of these guys don't understand that Michigan, not only do they hire lawyers, but one of their biggest schools is a law school.
Yep, the law quad.
They know how this stuff works.
Also, they're not going to appeal and take this to court if they think for a second that it's going to hurt them more.
Right.
Because at that point, if Michigan does get a postseason ban or anything like that, and they do get players that are transferring out because they got the death penalty, that does end up hurting the school in the end, and the school is begrudgingly going to take the side of the football team.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Marmar just said we remind him of Chris and Peter Griffin. From Family Guy, dude.
Oh, Family Guy. Okay.
Bro.
Well, here you go. Corey G says he'd rather listen to you than Garrison.
Yeah, I share the sentiment.
Yeah.
Oh man,
let me see.
That's great.
Well, okay, I'll skip that one. Let's see here.
Well,
wait a minute. Okay, so Scott D says, of course they didn't comply, and rightly so. They were in a witch hunt for Harbaugh. I would have told him to duck off too.
You guys, rules are rules.
Hey guys,
man.
guys. I don't think he meant duck.
I'm saying duck and not duck, right? Okay. Actually, this is another interesting too. Michigan didn't have to comply because the NCAA gains information illegally. Yeah. Now, I've heard some of the. I don't know who's. I don't know exactly who it was, but I know I've heard people respond to this saying that Michigan is more worried about how the information was gained than that the information was gained. But from a rules perspective, how do you think that plays into it? If Michigan does prove that the information was gained illegally,
I don't know, man.
What do you think happens there?
I mean, if you take someone to court, you have the right to discovery. So
yeah.
What is that going to do to the NCAA? So what if there was a private investigative firm? And I'm not saying anything about Ohio State. I'm just saying the private investigative firm. What if there was a private investigative firm that had a mole? Because they did actually say that there was a mole. They did confirm. Oh my gosh. Bringing Levy Marmar.
Marmar's going crazy.
I love it. But what if there was a private investigative firm that gained that information illegally, and then Michigan sues the NCAA and that PI firm? The NCAA is done, right? They've been getting sued so much lately.
Yep.
Yeah.
They've got to be on the brink.
In general.
What's that?
I said I just think they're done in general, man. They're no longer the entity they used to be. So they're just slowly but surely fading away.
Yeah. Matthew Shepard says, thank you, Peter. It's all overblown and outdated at this point. The NCAA thought they'd get a piggy bank from Michigan, and we're appealing it.
After seeing, Matthew's comments every now and then, and just the context of them, I haven't seen Borge Warner in a while, so I think Matthew's going to be the new Borge Warner. You remember Borge Warner?
Oh yeah. I like him.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. Hope he's doing well. Peter, you were about to say
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I really think, I mean, once the NCAA versus House settlement came on, I mean, that was the end of the NCAA for me right there. I mean, they're in it for the money, and they don't even control the college football playoff anymore. The only thing they still have control over is an NCAA tournament, and that's for now. I mean, I truly think the NCAA will. They're on a ticking time clock, man. They do not have much time left. I think it's not a slow fade. I think it's a very quick fade. And I think the reason the harshest punishments were financial is because they're trying to financially survive.
That's a good point, actually. I mean, they say that the money goes to like scholarships or something like that, but who knows if that's true.
Yeah,
here,
unravel.
Gaming Grandpa says they asked for Harbaugh's bank records for the previous 10 years. So that's part of the overrule.
That's what?
I didn't know about that.
Why would they? Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah, maybe that was part of what Harbaugh was saying, that they were asking for private information.
Because, like, here's the thing: the NCAA is a private organization. Like, they're not public. They're not the law. They don't have jurisdiction to ask people for their private information like that. They don't have a warrant. That's wild.
They can't search things like that.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Brian Williams says the cheating assertion to me is the problem. The advanced scouting rule was implemented to give smaller programs a level playing field because they could not afford to pay scouts. That is true.
Yeah.
What I find makes this rule, well, they're already saying this rule lives in a gray area. And I've heard several pundits say that I think Josh Pate even said that it's a minor bylaw that has a very gray area, or maybe it wasn't. It might have been the Bussin' with the Boys guys, but now I completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh, that it was implemented to give smaller programs the level playing field, but it's legal in high school and it's legal in the NFL. And I found out the other day or a few weeks ago that there are actually some high school leagues that actually promote and encourage going to future opponent games and videotaping. So when I see fans say things like, "Oh, this is the biggest cheating scandal in history," I think, and it desecrates football. I kept thinking, but how? If it's legal in the pros and in high school, how can this be desecrating the game when it's in 2/3 of the game?
My high school program did exactly that for sure. It's true.
I do that every time I play NCAA 14. I load up the other team's games and watch those first, and then I play them. Like it makes it much easier.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, you guys, I'm glad this is over. And no, there's not going to be any, vacated natties on either side. There's not going to be this Joey Velasquez spy, this Blake Corum LLC vacuum company, or this whole Ryan Days Brothers PI firm. And nothing's going to happen to either program. I don't think there's going to be a story on how Ohio State was connected to this. I just think it's all conspiracy theories. It's a joke. We all just need to move on, enjoy football, stop preying on each other's downfalls, and just play the game.
But we got to talk about this for a few more minutes.
Yeah, I get that. I wanted to put that out there because I see a lot of comments about Ohio State being dragged into this. Open up the Discovery, Buckeye fans will be in shambles, and it's just not going to happen. That's
my catchphrase, so I can't stop saying that. That's my brand. I have to say it. We're going to sell shirts.
How do you guys? I'm sure you guys have heard about this one. How do you feel about the fact that we now know that Connor Stallions was invited by Central Michigan to their sidelines?
Wait, what?
Did you not hear about that?
I heard rumors. I didn't hear that was confirmed, but
it's been confirmed that Connor Stallions was actually invited by Central Michigan to help them on the sidelines during the Michigan State game.
And freaking Jim McElwain, like, oh, I don't know who that was. Do you know who that was? Who was that? And then he resigns and bolts for, I don't even know where he's at anymore.
But it was I get that the coaching staff from Michigan did not ask him to go on there, but it was also put in the NCAA findings, their 174-page findings, that he was also there to get signs from Michigan State for Michigan as well. So, because I remember an article, a posting by Trevor McHugh saying that, Connor Stallions was only there to get Central Michigan signs. This has absolutely nothing to do with Michigan. So, I had to, talk about that aspect as well, that it was actually confirmed that he was there, not on Michigan's behalf, but on his own behalf to get Michigan State signs for Michigan's game. So.
Well, the only fishy thing is, well, then if you were invited, why wear a disguise and why try and clearly hide the fact that you're on the sideline? That's the
was he
only
wearing a
thing that
disguise,
makes me
though?
raise my eyebrows.
Was he wearing a disguise?
It's gonna be funny, man. I mean,
I know he was in
Central
Central Michigan gear, but wouldn't they have given him like a Central Michigan T-shirt to be on the side, or a polo shirt?
One would think, but no, it's interesting
he was
because
wearing a Central shirt though.
he had like a polo or a fleece jacket on, didn't he?
He was wearing like the same thing that the coaches were wearing.
Yeah,
what I remember. So that's not really a disguise.
Well, he had his goatee and everything, and the shades, and who knows, but
okay.
Either way, that's a pretty humorous thing, I must admit. But either way, Central Michigan and Michigan play this year. If Central Michigan had any pulse, that would be a more entertaining game and would have mystique around it because of what happened and what took place. But
when they play Central Michigan, their student section should all dress up as Connor Stallions. That'd be absolutely hilarious.
That would be amazing.
Man. See, here's the conspiracy theories again about Joey Velasquez and just Ohio State connected to it. I can't even pay attention to that and take it seriously until I don't even think anything's gonna happen. So it's hilarious.
I guess I'm not gonna hold out. Okay, I don't want Ohio State to get the hammer because I want Michigan to continue beating Ohio State while Ohio State is good, because that's been a thing recently. I don't know if you've seen it, but Michigan's won 4 straight against Ohio State. It's been a thing lately. It's kind of neat. I don't want Ohio State to go back to 2011, right? I want Ohio State to continue being good, but it is kind of interesting that Michigan is even appealing this, because again, Michigan's not going to appeal it if there isn't something really there. And I think that at the very least, I think Michigan thinks that they have something on the NCAA, not necessarily Ohio State. Although according to Isaiah Hole, they think they've got something on Ohio State too. I don't know how that's going to work out,
dude,
but
I'm sorry.
What I've learned. Go ahead, Rob.
Dude, Isaiah Hole, the guy who purposely did not report what happened with Alex Jude because he was told not to, that Isaiah Hole. Sorry.
The one thing I've learned through this is that John Bacon is the only one that you should be trusting. All these other Michigan insiders have been dead wrong the whole time. All these Ohio State podcasters and most of the insiders have been dead wrong as well. And so, John's actually somebody I worked for back in the day when he was on WTKA, and I knew he was a good dude back then, but he's been spot on from the beginning to the end. And everybody else you can throw out because they're reporting what the university at Ohio State, what they want to report. And for Michigan, their insiders are reporting what Michigan wants them to report. So that's just how it is, man.
Yeah. No, I like Johnny Bacon. I feel like he's probably the most unbiased, objective voice in all of this right now.
Who do I work? Hey, Marmar, I work for a school district as a first grade teacher, so that's who I work for. So.
Wait, you are actually a first grade teacher?
Yes, I'm an
heck yeah! I didn't even know that, and I was making that joke. That's awesome.
Yeah, buddy.
So Gabe here is talking about. I think this is the Joey Velasquez thing. He's the one who transferred to Ohio State. I don't know. I mean, that's all unconfirmed, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know how you could follow what Isaiah Hole has presented this whole time and still trust him as a credible source. Like I said, John U. Bacon is the only one that's credible in this whole thing. Sam Webb is the mouthpiece for the university, and he always has been, and so he's not going to present bad things for U of M, and John Bacon always knows how to speak in a professional, elegant manner, and he comes with the truth, and he seems to have the best sources that I've ever found for Michigan athletics, whether it be hockey or football or whatever else.
But with Isaiah Hole, though, I don't know if I would be that tough on him, because I can see where if there was an investigation on Alex Ude, that he would be told, don't say anything online because we're about to catch him. Yeah. So I can see where he was told to keep that quiet, because that's that would be interfering with the police
investigation. Sure.
So I get that. I don't know that he's been as wrong as you guys think he has been, because I mean, he knows he's there, and he knows Connor Stallions. I mean, he's not inside the offices, so he doesn't have secret information. But I mean, like, what do you guys see that he reported that was just an outright lie?
I mean, I know him and Chris Ballas are still throwing around this Ryan Day's brother nonsense. They're still doing it. I see it.
But he's been saying that he's been told that that's what they're talking about in Schembechler Hall, not that he thinks it happened.
I mean, Dan Wetzel from Yahoo Sports. Sorry, Dan Wetzel from Yahoo Sports already put a complete and total end to that, and so
all right.
And Ross Dillinger.
They did an investigation, and they found no connections. So it's just interesting, but
yeah.
Anyway, I can't wait to talk football. Oh Lord!
Hey, you know what? Whatever Michigan fans want to keep on with the Ryan Day's brother thing, that something's going to come about for Ohio State being involved in this investigation stuff. Go ahead, fine. We're all going to move on with football, actual college football that happens on the field, and for the fans who want to keep praying, for the Ohio State fans that want to keep praying on Michigan's downfall off the field, and Michigan fans want to pray for Ohio State fans' downfall off the field, go ahead, be my guest. But I just think it's all conspiracy theories.
All right. Well, that was permission, it sounds like. So let's everyone fold our hands and bow our heads. Dear God, please let Ohio State suck this year.
I'm just trying to see what else we got going here. Well, you guys have been going crazy in the chat. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to hop through here, see what else we got. Dan Wurzel is about to drop a 100-page article.
100 pages. Holy crap.
I don't know what that's going to be about, but all right. Oh yeah, this was an interesting question that came up. Who took the pictures of Connor Stallions on Central Michigan sidelines and gave it to the NCAA? So part of the theory is that whoever was investigating Michigan was following Connor around.
Oh yeah. Well,
where did that picture come from? But I mean, there are so many pictures taken on the sidelines, and somebody was probably going through their pictures and found one. So
that guy kind of looks like Connor Stallions.
But yeah. Let me see here. Brandon says 9-3.
9-3.
Y'all said the hammer was coming for 2 years. Well, EP, I gotta give it to Rob and Peter here. They did not think the hammer was coming. So we've got that.
Rob.
People are coming for Rob's throat in the comments.
I guess.
See, that's just like when you stop viewing fans of teams not as human beings anymore, I just can't even talk to those people. I just can't, man.
Right. Yeah.
I just can't, because that means football is bigger than life itself. That's not accurate. That's just crazy.
Here's okay, not to end on a sour note here, but let's use this one. So if Ryan Day didn't win the championship this year, would y'all be defending him right now? What would you guys? How would you guys feel about Ryan Day right now if you didn't win the championship?
You know, it would be, man. I mean, I'd still defend him. I'd be upset that he didn't win the national championship, but you know, I'd still defend him in terms of this because his family has indeed gotten death threats.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just this is what that's done to him, and the fact that again, a Yahoo article by Ross Dillinger came out saying there are no ties to the Michigan investigation in terms of Ryan Day and his family in Ohio State. So, so that's why I get mad when other people are pushing these, you know, quote unquote theories that it's still Ryan Day and his brother and this PI firm and stuff. Like his family's name has been dragged through the mud. He's gotten death threats. So, and yes, Blue Wolverine death threats came from his fan base as well. That doesn't make it any better, but still, death threats are death threats. So,
yeah.
My thing is this, man. I trust Ryan Day in big games that don't involve Michigan. I literally trust him in every single other game. I have almost zero trust in him versus Michigan at this point. I truly think he is an elite head coach, just like John Cooper was. And I do not have a lot of confidence entering the Michigan game this year because it's in Ann Arbor and because of his proclivity to get all tight in that game. It's eerily similar. John Cooper most likely would have won national championships as well if there was a playoff system. And I fully believe that because he was very good versus everybody not named Michigan.
Yeah, John
and
Cooper
there is just a difference. Like there's a certain segment of the fan base, of the Ohio State fan base, that doesn't quite understand that there are 11 games in the regular season. There is the game, and then there is postseason. The game is a completely different season. What applies to other games does not apply to the Michigan game. It does not in any way, shape, or form. And so I am still extremely critical of his capabilities versus Michigan, but I trust him completely in every other game.
All right.
Yeah. And yeah, I completely agree with that. You know, he obviously has the Michigan problem, just like Kirby Smart has an Alabama problem still. Doesn't matter who Alabama's coach is, you know, just that's his kryptonite. Ryan Day's kryptonite is Michigan. That's just the way it is until, you know, he shows otherwise. You know, I don't have much confidence either when they play Michigan. However, I did bet Michigan Voice of College Football $100 to TJ and John D. Yeah, Diamano. That Ohio State would go into the big house and beat Michigan. Just friendly bet, man. A friendly competitive bet. So
friendly $100 bet. You know, groceries are very expensive now.
Yeah.
Groceries are evidence.
I want to hit Blue Wolverines question. What are you guys' thoughts on Dave Portnoy on Big Noon?
You know,
yeah, I want to get to that too.
Dave Portnoy, he recommends great pizza. You know, found a lot of great pizza spots in Michigan. But other than that, you know, there's just nothing else. I mean, I could see them bringing him on for ratings. So I mean,
he's the clear counterpoint to Pat McAfee, trying to bring that same kind of energy, that troll, but also that hype man. And it'll be interesting the reception he gets from the Ohio State crowds, because let's be honest, most of the Fox Big Noon Kickoffs, or at least half of them, are going to be in Columbus or Ohio State games. But it's interesting because I had watched Fox. I had transitioned from game day to Fox Big Noon Kickoff for preseason over the last couple years. I really liked Reggie Bush on there, and I was a little bit torn when they took him off because Mark Ingram is very annoying to me. Very annoying. I don't think he's very good at his job. And so this is going to test my loyalty to the Fox Big Noon pregame show. we'll see how it goes. But
yeah, I'm not too sure about him. I mean, you know, I'm glad he's a Michigan fan. I'm glad he helped get Bryce Underwood to Michigan. But yeah, I'm not a huge Pat McAfee fan either, just because
sure.
they're too over the top for me. But by
Dave
the same token, I
Portnoy-
love Gus Johnson. So
Dave Portnoy and Pat McAfee are ESPN and Fox's answer to Gen Z to keep their attention.
That's so true.
Their personalities are like they're constantly on cocaine. And so they have the energy to keep the attention of Gen Z. So that's what ESPN and Fox are doing. They're just trying to get the next generation of viewers. And unfortunately, the next generation of viewers are a bunch of cell phone zombies that can't pay attention to anything for longer than 2 seconds.
Right. They need that scream test going on for sure.
And a goldfish has an attention span of 8 seconds. And if a goldfish can beat you in a staring contest, civilization's completely and totally screwed.
Man, it's gonna be funny to all right, Mar. That's
Right.
fine, man. That's fine, man. Say what you want. That's okay. But I hope they sit Dave Portnoy next to Urban Meyer. That would be
that'd be great.
That would be great, man.
That'd be some TV right there.
Oh, yeah, I guess I'd watch that. That'd be pretty great.
Oh, here you go. Robin Peter,
Yeah.
I respect you standing in the paint. There you go.
Boom.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I told you I was only going to keep you for like 20 minutes, and I think it's been an hour now. But I appreciate it. I always appreciate your guys' viewpoints on this stuff. Like I've said before, you two are two of the best analysts I know. So thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate all the discussion. Any last thoughts there on any of that?
No, not really, man. Just
really?
we're gonna put this in the rearview mirror. We're gonna great season coming up. We're gonna see who has the better season. But I'm really honestly worried about this first game versus that Ohio State has against Texas. Now, if I don't have Ohio State winning that game. But if they keep it within 7 to 10 points, I'll be happy about that because they're just like, okay, they kept it competitive with all these new having replaced these new players, the OC, the DC. So that would be a good tell of how the rest of the season is gonna go. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah. 3 days away from week 0 starting, and it's exciting, man.
There we go.
We are closing down. The countdown clock is on. The best time of the year is almost here. It's almost upon us, and I'm beaming with excitement. I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go, and we're gonna talk about Oregon. But before you go, where can we find you on YouTube?
You can find Peter and I at Buckeyes Battlecry.
Buckeyes Battlecry on YouTube. It's a great channel. Everybody should like and subscribe to their channel.
But I will say, like the last time, if you're gonna subscribe, you better be in for it the long run, because we've had Michigan fans subscribe, and it's so easy to see who unsubscribes because the moment we say something that's not in favor of Michigan, we see the subscribers go down just a little bit. So if you're gonna subscribe, be in it for the long run. Who cares if we say some unfavorable things about Michigan? But God bless and go Bucks.
All right.
Yes,
thanks, guys, for being on. We will see you next Wednesday.
Have a good night, gentlemen.
All right, take care.
You too, man. See ya.
Yeah, later.
All right. We have a special presentation. I'm really thankful for Rob and Peter being on the show. Like I've said, these guys are great. And why did we all of a sudden? No, there we are. I'm sorry.
We're here.
Oh, we disappeared. There we are. We're in the corner there. We have a special video we're going to show you now. If you are a member of the channel, you may have already seen this video today, but we wanted to show it on the live stream. Just because to kind of show you guys what we do with these things. This is our Oregon video on looking back at Oregon 2024, and we're going to do this MST 3K style. We're going to try not to interrupt it too much, but drop your questions in the chat, and hopefully you find this as fun as we do. Mac, are you ready?
I'm so ready. This video is
great. Here we go. And now,
a special presentation from the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show.
Hopefully everybody can hear it.
Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear that.
Well, all the schools, they all show me, types of love, but there's one school, show me the most love, and, I guess that's where I'm going. You ready, Coach?
Let's get it.
That guy decommitted like 3 weeks later.
The whole school thing was so ridiculous.
I know.
It's time, baby.
I'm not sure anyone really had a more disappointing end to the 2024 season than the Oregon Ducks. They went undefeated in the regular season.
Best day of my life!
And even won the Big Ten in their first year in the conference. What a game! Just to lose in the playoffs.
Worst day of my life!
To a team they shouldn't have been playing anyway.
A roller coaster of a game.
In case it isn't perfectly obvious from the millions of other times I mentioned this on the channel, the 12-team playoff is an abomination. But hey, Bob Iger's the king of destroying beloved institutions for the sake of bigger profits, so what'd we expect?
We've decoded the intel from the First Order spy, and it confirms the worst.
Big Star Wars fans around here. Somehow the playoff got bigger.
Oh, great.
And that was my big part. I got to record that. It looks like the playoff got bigger.
Yes, great job. Coming back to the Ducks, because that's the point of the video, a lot of people have been questioning whether Dan Lanning is the right man for the head position of the Quackers of Oregon. We, at Team Rivalry, are wondering this question ourselves, especially because it'd be like super cool as Michigan fans if Oregon could go back to sucking so that we don't have to deal with them and other powerhouses like Indiana and Illinois. Not really concerned about Ohio State at the moment. To answer whether Dan Lanning is the Manning, we must have a look back at the 2024 Duck season, starting with the Idaho Vandals.
Duck season, fire!
Oregon's 2024 season started off simple enough. Like most other teams that cry and scream about being tough, Oregon scheduled an FCS opponent. Dylan Gabriel went off for 380 yards passing, and the defense held Idaho to just 14 points, and the Ducks almost lost? You know
what's funny about that whole the Ducks being tough thing is that you'll see coming up the not apex predator, keystone species, they call it. This is something they talked about in their team meetings. They call it a keystone species. So they were supposed to come into the Big Ten and take over.
Oh, great.
So they deserve to be mocked now.
Oh, at least when Ohio State schedules cupcakes, they know what to do with them. Next up, Boise State comes to town. The Blue Horsies with the Smurf turf were actually a bit of a surprise team last season. Does that excuse Oregon almost losing to them too? Also, Ashton Genty not winning the Heisman is the biggest Heisman snub ever, and if you have a problem with that, then come fight me. My address is...
Here we are, 123 Fake Street.
After just 3 weeks of anticipation and 2 close calls in a row, obviously it was time for a rivalry game. Well, that was fast. Oregon State stumbled into the game with a couple of less than stellar performances themselves, but hey, Oregon almost lost to Idaho, so anything can happen, right? The Ducks and Beavers start things off hot and heavy with Oregon State marching right down the field. The Ducks hold them to a field goal attempt, but the Beavers' massive teeth get in the way and the field goal is no good. The Beavers attempt building a dam to protect against the high-powered Duck offense that inexplicably didn't show up against Idaho. Am I a narcissist for laughing at my own jokes? Ducks find themselves in the end zone.
That was nuts!
I do it all the time.
With the Beavers sufficiently damned, Oregon would fly south to the city of, Angels, and destroys UCLA Sodom and Gomorrah style. Next up in the Oregon spanking line is Michigan State. Now, I won't disparage the Spartans too much, because frankly, the state of their football program is already a joke. They actually almost take an early lead, but Aiden Childs turned the ball over at the goal line. Not the first time a Spartan has gotten in trouble for fumbling their balls.
Be a couple chapters in my book one day.
We are now 6 games into the season, and Oregon's finally playing someone their own size as Ohio State, also known as Michigan's wench, comes to town. The question on everyone's mind was whether Dan Lanning had the chops to keep up with one of the Big Ten's most elite programs. 32 points and a 12 men on the field penalty later, and suddenly Dan Lanning is a genius that's literally rewriting the rules of the game. The Fighting Quackers suddenly find themselves at the top of the Big Ten in their first season of being in the conference.
So while Michigan is doing everything they can to bend the rules, Oregon and Ohio State are trying to rewrite the rules.
Well, Oregon's rewriting the rules, and Ohio State's crying about it.
Right.
We can make the Ohio State jokes now that Rob and Peter are gone.
Right.
That basically every Big Ten school except for Michigan and possibly Northwestern should be ashamed of. I mean, Michigan just won a natty, and thus they're allowed a year off. And Northwestern? Well, we love those little nerds, don't we? The Quackamaniacs will go on a 3-game tear, making Purdue reconsider joining the FCS, Brett Bielema reconsider retirement, and Michigan reconsider camera cranes on the sidelines. The Ducks then welcome the Turtles to town in a game that really should have been televised on the Nature Channel and narrated by David Attenborough.
But for the young hatchlings, the trials of life have only just begun. Inevitably, the tiny defenseless hatchlings attract scores of predators.
Nature is beautiful, isn't it? Also, when is Mike Loxley getting fired? In a far more interesting matchup, at least as far as mascots are concerned, the Ducks take on the Badgers. If this matchup were played out anywhere other than a football field, I would have tossed a couple Benjamins on the Badgers.
Look at that.
But I am not an idiot, so I only pawned my wife's wedding ring and gave that money to my bookie Vinny. Nice guy. Funny thing is, Wisconsin actually made things interesting. The Badgers would hold those crazy Quackers to just a half dozen first-half points while scoring 10 points themselves. Now, sure, Wisconsin's excited, but it's still just the first half. Surely Oregon would go from laying an egg to taking those eggs and cooking up a nice Badger scramble. But then another 15 minutes passes and still, no scramble.
Maybe you should try scrambling.
Apparently Oregon's offense was being called by IHOP.
What?
Wisconsin goes up a full touchdown just to then wet the front of their pants and lose the game in the last 3 minutes. So instead of a nice scramble, Oregon made 2 eggs over easy but accidentally overcooked the yolk and then burned the bacon, and holy crap, I'm hungry. 1 minute.
This is Oregon from a Michigan perspective.
The sight of another former Pac-12 opponent causes Oregon to remember how to play offense again, but obviously that means they also forget how to play defense. And they allow 21 points against a Washington team that managed only 18 points against Rutgers. It may not seem like much of a difference, but if you examine Rutgers closely, you'll find that they sucked. Although they did beat Virginia Tech, so I guess there's that. Wait, they sucked too? Who are we talking about? Oh, right, Oregon. With the regular season over, Oregon is all set and ready to play in their first ever Big Ten championship game. An impressive feat for their first year in the conference. So again, all you Big Ten teams should be ashamed of yourselves. Except for you, Northwestern. I could never be mad at you. Oregon's all set to take on Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, except OHNO. Ohio State got drunk the night before the Michigan game, vomited all over themselves, watched Michigan plant a flag at midfield, again, and then spent the Big Ten championship game in the drunk tank. Penn State, being sober and more than a little shocked by their good fortune, goes into the Big Ten championship game ready to make a statement. That statement being, well, we tried. We'll pick up the game on, well, actually the kickoff, where Penn State stuffs Oregon just about 4 yards short of the 20, and this apparently is cause for a massive celebration. Bro, calm down. They still have the ball, and you still have James Franklin as your coach. Try to keep things in perspective. A few plays later, and Oregon's already firing on all cylinders. Dylan Gabriel finds Kenyon Sadiq, who then hurdles a Penn State player in a way that kind of looks like he's trying to remind Penn State that they don't deserve to be there, which is very rude of him. Anyway, he scores a touchdown. And then another one. And then Oregon scores 2 more times in the span of 3 minutes. So obviously this game is over, right? I mean, clearly Penn State didn't expect Ohio State to crap the bed in epic fashion, so they didn't even think they were going to be here, and now they're on the verge of getting blown out. But then Franklin remembers that he's James Franklin, so he has to give the fans something to hope for before curb stomping their hearts.
Franklin's down again.
Penn State scores on back-to-back touchdowns, suddenly making this game a game. Drew Aller finds Omari Evans in the back of the end zone and throws just a beautiful pass. A pass that would have rivaled J.J. McCarthy's touchdown pass to Ronnie Bell in the 2022 Big Ten Championship game. Except Michigan won that game, so obviously that one's better. Aller fakes out the entire Oregon defense on an option run play, lowers his shoulder, and saves James Franklin's job. Well, for now.
For now.
Suddenly, it's a one-score game coming into the third quarter. Penn State will open the half with a beautiful 11-play drive lasting 5 minutes and 33 seconds and ending with... Wow. Penn State fans, with all due respect, I think your coach might actually hate you. Oregon will then score in like 5 seconds because Tez Johnson was left wide open by the Penn State secondary. Again. The teams would trade fourth quarter touchdowns leading up to what should have been a thrilling finish. Penn State would bring the game back to within a score, again, and now Oregon's got the ball at their own 25. And they get stuffed. Noah Whittington can't find any holes, and Dylan Gabriel mistakes the turf for his own player and throws an incomplete pass. I mean, it's your fault for wearing green helmets. To make matters worse, Penn State is going to start with solid field position. Boom! The Lions are in business. Surely this will not end in bitter disappointment.
Our sideline, it's intercepted.
Wow. Just wow. It's 2nd and 1. Plenty of time left, and you're on the 46 with 2 timeouts. Why in the Joe Paterno are you firing it downfield into double coverage? Oregon then runs the clock out, and just like that, the Ducks have made a mockery of our beloved Big Ten. You know, as a Michigan fan, I think 2024 might have been more painful for Penn State fans. I don't know, just a feeling. Anyway, Oregon suddenly finds themselves as Big Ten champs and the top overall seed in the college football playoff. Little do they know that Ohio State went to a 12-step program, sobered up, and now seek only to drink the blood of their enemies. Too bad they can't go back and beat Michigan. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of that game.
I loved that shot with Howard because he actually looks afraid.
Yeah, he does a little bit. Ohio State will destroy Tennessee in a way that makes the SEC wish paying players hadn't become legal, setting the stage for a massive rematch between Oregon and Ohio State that should have happened in the Big Ten Championship, but didn't because, well, you know. The Rose Bowl was shaping up to be the biggest game of the 2024 playoffs. It's a rematch unlike any other in the greatest of all bowl games, featuring 2 of college football's best teams and biggest brands. It was Oregon's chance to solidify their dominance over the Big Ten Conference and send Ohio State home with the realization that the conference would never be the same again. And they totally blew it. Ohio State would put up 34 points before halftime, put in the backups at the start of the fourth quarter, and have themselves a little duck a la Rose, while Oregon watched their national title hopes get nuked from orbit. It wasn't the end to the season Oregon wanted, because duh, I mean, who would want this? This sucked. I can really only imagine how many Duck fans went to work with paper bags over their heads after this one. But hey, they still won the Big Ten, so I guess there's that. Anyway, better luck next year, Duck fans. Sorry the season didn't end the way you wanted. Believe me, we were really hoping you would win this game.
All right, so that's what we did. We have a few videos like that. If you go to our homepage, our YouTube homepage, there's a line down there that says video essays, and we've got one on, what did we do this year? We did Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and Oregon, right?
Yeah.
All 4 of those, all of those. And they're all, in the same vein. They're meant to be humorous. And yeah, we make fun of other teams. Actually, in the Michigan one, we kind of made fun of Michigan too, but
we did.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think the Michigan one is the best one.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's the funniest one. Although that one was pretty funny. If I do say so myself.
Yeah, that one came out really well.
Yeah, I think, your edits on that one were really good. The sound effects and the duck season fire. That's a classic.
That worked out really well.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody for watching that. We just wanted to premiere it there because I think we do those kind of videos every once in a while and they kind of die. And I think it's because people don't expect them or they don't know what to do with them. So we thought we'd show it to you here so you can kind of get a feel for what we're doing there. We just, we like to have fun with that and we like to make fun of things. And so that's our outlet, making fun of stuff that way.
Yes.
But let's go back.
I've set it live for the general public. So you no longer have to be a member to see it. But if you are a member, you get to see those types of videos earlier. Although we probably won't do another one until after the season's over because obviously it's about to start. And so there you go.
Well, we might find other things. We could.
Well, we might find
do a few of those press conference ones. Those were kind of fun too.
Yeah.
Blue Wolverine says, take a moment to like the video. Please do. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. We appreciate that. Marmar asking, who's going to be at the game next week? Unfortunately, we cannot be there. We're going to be at the Purdue game, but not at that game. But I wanted to go back to that question we had early on, and it came from Matthew, and it was about the 2018 playoff. Mac, how do you feel about that? What are your thoughts on a 2018 playoff?
No. No. No, 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 no. No.
No.
No.
Here we go.
It's really no. Just you know what? I say that. But now I'm going to immediately contradict myself because I would love Western Michigan versus Purdue or some other team that doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs but randomly had a good season in the first round. And that would be kind of hilarious. Like, I would love for Michigan and Western Michigan to play in like the second round or something like that. That would be hilarious. But in terms of the integrity of the game, no. And in fact, I'm at the point now where I want the BCS back. Give me the computers. The computers were better at this than the humans were. Those are my thoughts. Hey, okay. The playoff already cheapens the regular season. Okay, it's the more you have of something, the more it cheapens. You know, it's like money and with inflation. You know, the more dollars that are in circulation, the less it's worth. The more you have of it, the less it's worth. So I want to go back to a smaller playoff so that it's worth more. So that, you know, each game that you win in the regular season is worth more. There is no scenario in which Ohio State loses to Oregon and then loses to Michigan, doesn't play in the Big Ten championship game where they then deserve to be in the playoffs. I understand that. I understand that the playoff was, this particular playoff was put into place because of teams like Ohio State, where they say, okay, well, we all know Ohio State was actually the best team in the country, right? Well, if they were, why didn't they win in the regular season? But then they go on and win the CFP, which just then makes everybody else go like, well, yeah, we always knew that they were good enough, but they didn't deserve to be there. They lost. They lost to Michigan. They lost to 6-5 Michigan. They lost to Davis Warren. Why were they in the playoffs? And that's where we're at with a 2018 playoff. You're going to have, I mean, I don't mean to crap on my alma mater, but you're going to have a scenario where Western Michigan could get in and possibly even without a conference championship. Do we really want that? Do we really want a world in which a MAC team that isn't even the best MAC team is allowed in the playoffs? Do we really want that? I don't think so.
I was thinking, and Blue Wolverine here says, was a 4-team really that bad that they are wanting to become the NCAA basketball bracket? And actually, one of the things I heard about this that I hadn't even thought of, you go to a 2018 playoff, you're adding, what, 2 or 3 more weeks to the season?
Yeah, I mean, when's the season going to start then?
These guys are in school. I mean, they gotta do their work sometimes. I mean, I understand Ohio State used to pay guys to do the homework for their players, but we don't have to get into that right now. But yeah, it's just there are so many teams in the NCAA. I mean, you've got what, 132, 134, somewhere in there,
something like that. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you keep expanding it, because you're never going to get to a point where you're actually getting, you know, the real champions, because I mean, there's 32 teams in the NFL. And even then people are like, oh, I don't know if they should have been there or not.
But it's about who'd you beat.
Yeah.
You know, it's about, it's about the wins still.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at least with the NFL, I mean, you could have a division like the NFC. I don't know. You could have like I don't know. Is the AFC South is a thing, right? You have like the AFC South, you know, where there was one point where one of the divisions had a team that was sub 500 that won the division. Like, that sucks, but they won the games that the other teams didn't. So what are they supposed to do? Then they went to the playoffs and got blown out like they should have, but they won the right games. So, but with college football, there are so many teams that you have a unique opportunity where the actual best of the best, the teams that actually deserve to be in the playoffs should be the ones that go. And those are the teams that go through their schedule. Maybe they get one loss, maybe two, depending on who it's to. We can talk about it. That's fine. But there should be no scenario where Ohio State loses. I mean, they lost to Oregon. That's a good loss. But then to Michigan and doesn't go to the Big Ten championship and then is allowed in the playoffs. Like, there's no scenario where that should have been allowed because they didn't win.
But how do you get to a point? Well, what's your ideal then? How many teams should be in the playoffs?
I mean, I liked 4. I could understand 8, but like beyond that, I mean, because like the top 8, there's not a ton of parity between like the number 1 and number 8 team. Usually. You
don't think so?
Usually.
I mean, I suppose this past year we saw, I mean, all the top 4 teams lost in the second round.
Well, yeah.
They didn't play the first round. They had the bye week, but
yeah,
I feel like in the top 25, we've talked about this before, there's tiers. It's like 1 through 5 is a tier, and then like 5 through 15 is a tier, and then 15 through 25 is a tier. I mean, I feel like that's pretty close. Maybe there's some fudge factor in there, but I feel like the top 5 or 6 teams are essentially the same. I think any given Saturday, you take 1 through 6 and play them, and 6 can beat 1, 5 can beat 2. But I don't know. I guess I don't know what the end goal is. If you're gonna, and that's the reason why I don't understand expanded playoffs, because I'm going by percentages. If you've got 134 teams and you're going to put 28 of them in the playoffs, who just said it? Matthew said it. Matthew Shepard here said it, that there's no room for okay teams to complain, that if you're not in the playoff at that point, you're obviously not a great team. And I would say that's probably true. You get outside the top 25 and all of those teams are virtually the same.
I mean, I would even argue that you get outside the top 10, maybe top 15. I mean, there are good top 15 teams, and then there are mediocre top 15 teams. I don't know. I just think that they need a system that rewards winning the games. I mean, and I'll come back to see you, Blue Wolverine. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks, Blue Wolverine.
I'll come back to the fact that Oregon was the number 1 overall seed and then had to play Ohio State again. I mean, playing a team twice in the same season and beating them twice in the same season is a very difficult thing to do. But Ohio State already beat Oregon. So I don't think that the game should have ever happened. I think Ohio State should have, or I think Oregon should have they were one of the top 4 teams. They deserved it. They won the game.
Yeah.
Ohio State didn't. Why did they have to play again? Why do we have to play again for them to determine which team is better? That means the first game didn't count.
Right. And I think Brandon makes a fun point here that Michigan had like the 130th ranked offense in the country and still won 8 games. It's not Michigan standard, but most programs couldn't win 8 games with that bad of an offense. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So there are tiers there of teams that are top tier versus mid tier, bottom tier. Ralph Wolf says he thinks 8 is the right number. Yeah, I think 8 could work for sure. Marmar says 8 is perfect. Okay, Ralph says that usually about 8 teams that can win a natty each year. So I like 8.
I could be okay with 8. Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah.
And I guess you got to make this t-shirt. Buckeyes are in shambles.
I do have to make that. Yeah, we got to set that up. Can we put a store on the Team Rivalry site?
Sure.
Okay. We'll have to figure that out. I think you can do that on YouTube too.
Yeah. Goodness gracious. We got chats like crazy here. I think I went backwards. I did. How did I end up way back here? Wait a minute. Here we go. Okay. Top 8 gets you Ohio in 8th.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so I guess I don't know what else to say about that. I think 28, like I said, I'm just going off percentages. I don't think 28 gets you to where you want to be anyway. So you might as well stick with 8 or 12. I don't know. I think you're right though. The 12 didn't make sense. And I mean, I suppose Ohio State proved themselves by winning the national championship, but they lost to Michigan. But then that's not out of the ordinary though. I don't know.
Not out of the ordinary. I mean, you can lose. I mean, losing the game used to mean whether or not you were going to the Big Ten championship game or won the Big Ten championship. And that's what, put you in the better bowl game so that you had a chance for winning the national title.
Yeah.
That's no longer the case because the playoff is bigger now. So by its nature, the game doesn't mean as much as it used to because the playoff got bigger.
Right.
And that's why we're having this debate with Ohio State fans now. That's why Ohio State fans now are all like, oh, the game doesn't mean anything anymore because we won the Natty. I'd lose to Michigan every year if it meant we won a national championship. Like, would you though?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm good with 8 at the most, but I would have preferred going back to 4. Yeah. Although I could see 6.
Oh, yeah, Matthew, you're right. I did do that, didn't I? Okay, thank you for the reminder. I went all the way back to the top to get his comment, and I had to come back through. 6, no more than 8. Okay. Yeah, so seems like we're all right in there.
Yeah.
We want that. So I guess to further the question then, does that take us back to the Super League then, the Super Conference?
I mean, that's going to have to happen at some point anyway, just because, I mean, you've got salary caps, you've got roster caps, you've got, a broken transfer portal system, a broken NIL system, excuse me. And the fact that the playoff is about money and they can't expand it too much. Otherwise it will legit become meaningless.
Right.
So, how far can they take it before they do have to start restructuring in a significant way? And I think that means relegation and a Super League. Yeah.
So I'm looking at the poll we had. I don't know. It looks like something changed all of a sudden.
Oh yeah.
You put in a different poll.
We already talked about it, so I thought we were good. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I was wondering what the results were on the other poll. Can we go back to it?
Yeah, I've got it.
All right.
Okay. Expectations for Michigan in 2025. 8+ wins, 10%. Big Ten champions, 17%. National champions, 26%. 10+ wins, 45%.
All right.
I'm firmly at the somewhere between 10+ wins and Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
Although I'll just be honest with you, Michigan's young, but they have everything they need to compete for a national title this year. That defense is going to be stacked.
This is going to be one of those seasons where they have got so much talent on that team that if they don't do anything, if they don't get 10 wins, I think I was telling this to Sam, College Football with Sam, that if Michigan doesn't get 10 wins, I mean, not only is that going to be a disappointment, but that's going to be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because there's too much talent on that team right now to not do that.
It's just they're young. And I think the season really does ride on Bryce Underwood.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he plays, but again, he doesn't have to be the star. He doesn't have to be, the savior of Michigan football's offense. He just has to be competent. If he's competent, Michigan wins 10 games. If he's great, Michigan wins 12 games. And there are a lot of people saying that Bryce Underwood is going to be great year one. So we'll see what happens.
He's definitely got the attitude.
He does, yeah.
If not the talent, for sure. So just to finish off a couple of chats here, Brandon says 28 teams. Really? That don't make sense. It doesn't. Doesn't make sense to me either.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Matthew says, I'm good at 16, but 28 to me just sounds best for the argumentative point of teams complaining they deserve to be in. And I'd love to destroy Ohio in a national championship game. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was the problem last year, wasn't it? They had the 12 teams, and was last year when? Oh no, it was the year before that Florida State got mad.
Yeah,
because they weren't in it. But you know that when there's 12 teams, team number 13 is going to complain.
Yeah, it's just we're gonna have this conversation every year.
Every year, yeah. Ralph says, Marmar, I think we do because of money, but 7 and 5 playoff team seems bad for the sport. Yeah.
It is bad for the sport.
I agree, yeah.
You've got a mediocre team that's in the playoffs. I mean, does anybody want to see what would it be at that point? 12 and 5 national champion?
I mean, yeah, that'd be crazy.
That would be nuts.
Hold on. I want to bring up last year's schedule real quick, because I think, you had half the Big Ten went 7 and 5.
Yeah, it wasn't good. That's for sure. It was an off year for the Big Ten.
So let's see: Indiana, Penn State, Ohio State. So let me get to Nebraska. Yeah, Nebraska was 6 and 6 last year.
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't have made it. Iowa was 8 and 4. So Iowa could have been in the playoffs then if you get to a 2018. But yeah, I think I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. But also, Ralph says, wait a minute. Let me go back here. So how is Michigan going to do this year? What are your expectations? We're going 12-0 regular season, play Penn State for the Big Ten championship and lose before the national championship. It'll come down to Texas and Penn State. Texas wins it all. You know what? That's actually that was close to my prediction. I was thinking more of 11-1 with Michigan going to the Big Ten championship against Penn State, and then, well, at that point, even if they lost to Penn State, they could still get into round 1 of the playoffs, but then they'd probably lose. But we'll see. But all right, I think we're going to close it up. Any last words, Mac?
I had last words and then I forgot what they were. But,
right. Yeah. Well, next week is where we start talking about football. The first season or the first week of football starts. We're going to have on Rob and Peter are going to be back on. We're going to have a couple of more people on, and we're going to start picking games and picking scores and unders and overs and all of that kind of stuff. Winners and losers. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think everybody will enjoy it. Mac?
Oh, what? I remember what I was going to say. Okay, yes. So, thank you, Ralph, for calling this out. Everyone, if you don't mind liking and subscribing to the channel, if you're not liked or subscribed, I hope you're liked. You all seem like very nice people. We like you. But anyway, Matthew, it's Mac, M-A-C-K, because my football name. My full name, it's 10:15. I'm tired. My full name is Mackenzie, so I go by Mac. Also, Marmar, good night. He said he's going to bed. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging out. Always loving the trash talk. Again, for members and those of you who are not members, we're having the members only fantasy football team or fantasy football league. There are 3 spots left. Last I checked, you can become a member for $1 and join. The link is in the community tab, but you have to be a member to find that link. So, but it's also only $1. So
right
there you go. There's a $50 gift card to Rally House on the line if you win it. So
right
there you go.
Or I heard Fanatic U. We might be able to do that too.
Oh, all right.
So we might give the winner the option, or so they want one or the other there. So,
no, Matthew, don't feel dumb. You're cool, man.
All right, that's going to do it for us. We will check in with you next Wednesday. Mac has videos coming out almost every day with the football talk you want to hear. I think that's going to do it. Mac, take us out.
This is the Michigan Wolverines Team Rivalry Show. Have a great night, everybody.
Good night, and go blue, everybody.